Hello and welcome back to another in-depth video. Today we are talking about Winter Storm Delphine, which could bring more than a foot of snow to the northern plains, as well as continuing to dump snow in the Rockies. So let's start off with the Weather Channel page. So we do have a headline instead of a full article, but that headline reads, Winter Storm could bring more than a foot of snow in the northern plains. So let's start off with our coverage with the National Weather Service page. So currently we do have winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, and some winter storm watches posted for the West Coast and the Rockies, but not necessarily in the northern plains as of yet, especially with those winter storm warnings. So let's start with our winter storm warnings. We have winter storm warnings in Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Idaho, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana. We have winter weather advisories in Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Idaho, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, and Minnesota. For the storm system, we also have some winter weather advisories in the Northeast, but that's for a separate system. We also have some winter storm watches posted for areas of Oregon, California, as well as parts of Montana, but that does look like a little bit of a different color. But I think that is a winter storm watch in effect, yes. So those are our winter weather warnings, advisories, and watches. So let's start off on the NAM 12-kilometer model and take a look at the timing of this storm. So currently we do have a low pressure at 986 millibars, which is relatively strong, coming onto the Pacific Northwest coast, and this storm will be Winter Storm Delphine. So right now we do have some moderate to heavy snowfall in Oregon, California, and Washington, as well as rain along the coast. But as this storm system moves in, it's also drawing in plenty of cold air from Canada, and some of these coastal areas could turn to snow as this storm system continues to move in and drive in more Pacific moisture into the region. As it continues to cross the Rockies, we do see some light to heavy snow depending on where you are, but just overall spotty conditions in terms of moisture. But once we see this storm cross the Rockies and across the Cascades and into the Rockies, we do see more of a general area with most of the moisture, and that is the Pacific Northwest, with snow in Washington, Oregon, California, Idaho, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana. And as the storm system continues to move through, it will start to tap into some Gulf moisture and bring up that moisture, and we could see some heavy snowfall begin to develop in South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota. And as the storm system continues to move into the plains, we will see even more Gulf moisture get drawn up, as well as, with that, some warmer, moist air, and that will clash with the cold air that is already in place in front of this storm, and we could see some freezing rain start to set up on that boundary line. So, as the storm system continues to move into the Great Lakes region, we could see some freezing rain, and according to this latest model run, we will see most of this freezing rain occur in Michigan, Ohio areas of the southern Great Lakes region as the storm system continues to develop through and mature through the northern plains. And eventually the storm system starts to move into Canada with some moisture remaining in the Northeast in terms of rain and freezing rain. And by now we are through Tuesday, and that is where this model run ends, but we are done with the snow event by that point. So this is early morning Tuesday Eastern time. So here is the total accumulated snowfall. This is the Kuchera ratio, and that is basically just a balanced ratio depending on where you are. So this is a pretty good, accurate look at how much snow you could be receiving. Let's start off with the Pacific Northwest. Some areas of the Cascades could see over close to 6 feet of snow especially in areas of Oregon and Washington, where you definitely could see over 3 feet of snow, as well as along the coastline here. After the storm system starts to move through and that cold air is drawn in, you could see over a foot. In terms of the southwest, you have California, which could see over 100 more inches of snow in parts of the Sierra Nevadas, and Nevada could see a widespread 6 to 12 plus inches of snow in the north and east parts of the state. Now, in terms of the Rocky Mountains, the higher elevations will be seeing most of the snowfall, with areas of Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico seeing most of their snowfall in the upper elevations, but some areas, including areas of Wyoming, Idaho, Colorado, Utah, could see maybe 3, 4, 5 feet of snowfall from this system as it continues to draw in that Pacific moisture from off the coast and push it into the Rockies. So, as the storm system continues to move into the northern plains, we will see that moisture from the Gulf contribute more to the storm system than in the west coast, when we saw the Pacific moisture contributing more to the snowfall totals. Therefore, when that moisture initially is brought up into the northern plains, we could see 18 plus inches of snow in North Dakota, but most of all, a widespread 6 to 12 across North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota, with some areas getting less than that. In parts of South Dakota, you could be seeing 0 to 6 inches, as well as in southern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan as well. So, moving on here to the freezing rain. So, freezing rain could be a contributing factor here, especially with areas that get those layers of freezing rain, then snow, or snow, then freezing rain, and that could cause a wintry mess on those roads. So, in South Dakota, we could see some areas receiving 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of ice. Now, that is enough to coat all the roads and lose any sort of friction that you have to continue to keep your traction. And as we move into areas such as southern Minnesota and northern Iowa, some areas could see 0.05 to 1/10 of an inch of ice, but many of the areas will see lighter amounts. Now, in terms of Wisconsin and Illinois, we could see some areas with 1/10 of an inch, but most of the areas will see less than that. Now, in terms of the worst for this storm, don't mind all of this. This is for a separate storm system. But Michigan could see most of the freezing rain here, with some areas seeing close to 1/4 of an inch of ice. Now, that is enough for this storm to be considered a ice storm as well, and 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulating on power lines, roads, and everything else will basically make all of that a treacherous situation. 1/4 of an inch of ice can take down trees, power lines, and contribute to crazy road conditions, so be aware of that. But that is all of the information I have for this storm. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell. That's all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.